Nobody starts at the finish line. You have to start somewhere. In order for you to get to where you're going, to meet that destination, you can't think that you're going to get there instantly. Welcome to another episode of the Mr. Mindful Minute podcast, where we touch on different things of different topics on how we could go from a nothing place to a something place. And today's topic is you cannot control me. And why am I touching on you cannot control me, that whole aspect, that whole idea? Because we got to really understand what it means when we say somebody cannot control us. We have to understand what it means when people try to manipulate. That's a form of control. Maybe we are the one that's trying to control somebody else. So we have to gravitate to the realm of breaking that bond of not being controlled. Because there are a lot of ways that we can become controlled by somebody else, and we would now not be operating as our true authentic self. We're not. Because what we'll find ourselves doing is we'll become who somebody else wants us to become, but we will not become who we want to become. Let me say that one more time. We'll become who somebody else wants us to become, but we're not becoming who we want to become. And so when that starts to happen, you lose your identity. Because let's touch on it from a few different levels. So who's the first group of individuals that may try to control somebody? Well, it's usually your parents. It's usually authority figures in your life. So when we look at it from that standpoint, an easy way to, a lot of times people say, well, I went to school for this and I became this. Oh, well, because my mom or my dad, because it's best if I did this. I don't want to let them down. So I need to be doing this with my life. But key is your life. It's not theirs. And your greatness is not connected solely on the predicate of what they say. Like, your greatness actually has nothing to do with them. They're great in their own realm. But when we find ourselves being controlled by our parents, we now cannot be who we truly want to be on the inside. We cannot be who we truly value, because we are so worrying about valuing becoming that person that is not going to let the family members down, that's not going to let mom down, auntie, uncle, dad, sister, brother, cousin, whoever, grandma, grandpa. I don't want to let them down, so I gotta do this and this. If I became this, if I act like this, but that ain't who you want to be. So at some point you're gonna feel like, man, this is exhausting. Yo, man, this is hard. Like, yo, I'm stressing out. Like, I ain't happy. I want to be this person. I want to act like this, but I know if I had that behavior, then it's gonna let them down. Guess what? They have to live their life just like you have to live yours. So don't be controlled by anybody. And so once we start getting into the realm of you can't control me anymore, That's us sticking up for ourselves. That's us like taking a stance where we actually say, no, this is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. Love me for who I am, not for who you want me to become. I'm going to say that again. Love me for who I am, not who you want me to become. Love me for who I have become. Now, I'm not saying that people are going to always be approved of your behavior. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, you like, okay, you know what? I know the decisions that I'm making, and I'm not being controlled by anybody else from their words or their actions, because understand that people control you. They can. Let me say that. People can control you by their words or by their behavior. And you're like, well, what do you mean? This is what I mean. This is how that looks. If you start doing something because another individual constantly said that this is what they want you to do. I want you to do this. This is what I would like you to do. This is what the behavior I want you to have. This is the job that I want you to have. This is the career field that I want you to take up. This is what I think you should study. And this, 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 and that. Well, at some point, because you are tired of hearing what you're not doing, guess what you are going to start doing? What it is that they're asking you to do. Now, I'm not saying if somebody asks you to do something that you can't comply in some type of way and things like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more deeper things. Your character. How you operate as a person, right? How you speak. What you listen to. What you engage yourself in. These are all ways where we try to control or we get control. Now, don't misconstrue that with not having standards. Don't misconstrue that with not having expectations, because that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you operating as who you are and who you want to be, and being okay with that. Like, legit. Seriously. So like for myself, for example, right? For a long time, I thought that I wanted to be a veterinarian. For a long, long time. I was like, man, I want to be a veterinarian. All throughout my childhood. Now, nobody pressured me into thinking that or those feelings, right? I got accepted to, at the time, 2003, graduating high school, full scholarship to a veterinary college in Texas, right? I'm from Philly. Okay. Well, I decided that that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Fast forward. I have a daughter. My daughter decides that she wants to become a veterinarian. All right. If that's what you want to do, that's what I tell her. That's what you want to do. Not because that was what I thought about doing, because I could have went back to it, but I didn't. She says, once she got in like her teenage years, she says, I don't think I want to be a veterinarian. Okay, cool. What do you want to do? I think I want to be a graphic designer. Great. You like art? You can draw. You're excellent. Let's nurture that. I'm with it. Whatever I got to do to support it, I'm down for it. Cool. Well, guess what? The controlling factors of others tried to kind of get in there. What did they do? Family members of hers, of mine. Oh, you're going to be the first doctor in the family. Blase, blase. You really need to do this. Oh, you always said that you want to, how you don't want to. You should really. So now it compelled her to be like, maybe I should. And I was like, no, you don't have to. Don't allow somebody else to live their life through you. They couldn't do it, or I'm not going to say they couldn't do it. They chose not to for whatever reason. Not minimizing whatever they went through or whatever they did. But for whatever reason, they chose the life that they chose. Okay. They cannot live their life through you because trying to dictate and control what you do. And how do people, again, control? They control with words. They try to make you feel bad. You ever have a situation where you legit, genuinely do not want to do something, and you even express it, and then somebody keep kind of badgering you? Well, I did this for you, and I was there for you, and this, that, and the third, and blase, blase. Now you like, man, I feel compelled. All right, I do it. And you usually do it begrudgingly. You don't really want to. You're not feeling it. Well, that's because they controlling you now with their words. Because you express that you don't want to do it. But here you are, doing something that you really not into, you really don't want to do. And again, sometimes you're going to make concessions for people, and I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is it shouldn't become a routine. It shouldn't become a habit where now somebody is kind of guilt tripping you or making you feel bad because of something that you're doing. Something that you don't want to do. Like, look at this example. If I asked you for a pen, I say, hey, you think I could borrow your pen? And you decided to tell me no. Well, the moment that I said, why can't I hold your pen? I only need it for a quick second. I'm trying to control you with my words, with guilt. Because I asked you a question, you gave me an answer. But you gave me an answer contrary to the answer that I already had in my mind. See, that's how people control people. Because when somebody is doing something and they want something done, or they want an answer, or they ask you a question, well, they rebuff it with, oh, well, why not? Or why this? They kind of like, it's their way of saying that they challenging it. But that's because they already had a certain answer in their mind before you even responded. And then when you didn't respond to the answer that they gave themselves, they like, no, I need to change your decision. I need to control you. It happens. It happens. All right, so what's another scenario? How do people control people with their actions? Well, people control people with their actions when they constantly do something, right? I'll give you an example. An individual may try to control a person with their actions by doing something for somebody. And then by them doing it, it makes you respond a certain way. So it's just like, oh, I did a nice gesture for you, or I bought you something. And so because I did that for you, and I constantly did it, right? That in turn can control you in some type of way for you to do something in return. And so when you don't do something in return, that's when the person may stop what they was doing, or they may even question you like, yo, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. Why you ain't been doing this? Why you ain't been doing that? Because I didn't want to. You did what you wanted to do because you was compelled to do that. And I appreciate it and I value it. But that does not mean that I have to do something in return. That's called being transactional and conditional. That's how you control people with your actions. And so when we look at ourselves, we don't want to be controlling nobody with our words. We don't want to be controlling nobody with our actions. And so what are some of the ways that we can gravitate away from controlling people with our words or even controlling people with our actions? Well, we need to start questioning our own motives. We really need to evaluate why we're doing something. And when we evaluate why we're doing it, we'll actually see where the genuineness is coming from. Is it coming from a place of I'm just doing this because I want to, or I'm doing this because I'm looking for a response from the person? That's control. That's control. So how are you trying to control somebody and you don't even have full control over yourself? Like we don't have full control over ourselves, because there are things that a person may know that they should not do, but because they don't have control over themselves, they still do it. Look, we imperfect. I'm not saying that we not. We all susceptible to fall short. But if we all are susceptible to falling short, then why are you trying to control somebody if you can't even control you? So we gotta remember, the only person we can control or should control is ourselves. Control your thinking. Control your feelings. Control your eating habits. Control your social activities. Control your recreational activities. Control things in your life. So now you will see, hey, I can't control myself to the fullest extent possible. Let me stop trying to control somebody else. Let me stop trying to control them by making them feel bad when they don't want to do something. Let me stop trying to control somebody by doing certain things or having certain behaviors and looking for a response, like legit looking for the response, like you waiting for a response. So it shouldn't be you did something and they ain't do. If they don't do nothing, cool. But if they do, then okay, that's great as well. But it shouldn't be that they were in your mind that they obligated to actually do something, because then you now cop an attitude. It happens. It happens. I've done it. I ain't exempt. I ain't acting like, oh, I have not been there. Look, it's something that I work on. I don't speak about nothing that I don't try to overcome. Try, at least try. You may not always be successful, but you can try. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, it will help us to become a better version of ourselves. Because understand, the person that you have developed to become today, you may not have been that person. And yes, we all change in some way, shape, or form. But you have to understand that the person that you once were, you may not be that person anymore. And that's why it is not good for people to control you, because you will never see who you are fully if people are always controlling how you operate, what you do, how you eat, how you don't even let the opinions of other people's control you. How does that happen? How you dress. So if you like to, a person like myself, right? I'll give you this example. Watch this. And this is just random. This is random. These are my socks. I am a person, I'm an avid person that likes to wear different color socks, character socks. Yes, that is Elmo on my socks with crayons at the bottom, right? I don't think I got a regular pair of socks in my house. I don't have no white socks. I don't have no black socks. I have socks that got designs on them, that got countries on them, from different countries that I've been to, activities that I've done. They got my logo on socks. They got my favorite animal on socks, right? This is my point. Someone actually said to me, "Oh man, you shouldn't have Elmo on your socks. You should have something else on your socks." I said, "Well, how are you trying to control what I do with my life and the socks are on my feet, they're not even on yours? How does that even work? Because I can't control and dictate what you put on your body. As the saying goes, what you eat don't make me go to the bathroom. So just because you chose to do something or you won't do something, why are you trying to emulate that on me?" That's how people control you. They make you feel as though that it's something that you're doing you shouldn't be doing because they wouldn't do it. That's control. Don't allow nobody to control you by trying to dictate what you should or should not do or should not wear. Now, again, I ain't saying that you shouldn't have no standards, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't operate with no principles. I ain't saying that you should be out here looking all crazy. But that don't mean that I can control what you do or what you don't do. You know what I'm saying? I can give you my suggestions on what I think you should or should not do. But if that's what you choose to do, that is you. And if you connected to me, I'm going to just let you know, like, hey, I don't approve of what you're wearing. You know, you can wear it. I'm just going to tell you I don't approve of it. So if somebody say, "Oh, well, you see how that person is dressing," I'm going to be like, guess what? I didn't approve of that. So that's what they chose to put on, right? And so we have to understand that we got to stop trying to control people and we got to stop being controlled. So if it's a certain style that you want to wear or colors or things like that, that's how you want to move, then be okay with that and who you are. And so that is just my take on you are not in control of you. All right, so now it's time for one of my moments. And one of the moments that I have had is, I remember when I was driving, I was borrowing a good friend of mine's car. And you know, when you holding somebody's car, you like, man, I don't want to mess this joker up. I just want to get to where I'm going, come back, bring them their car, because I want to give it back to you in the same condition that you gave it to me in, right? And so I'm driving, and it was like a red neon, a Dodge Neon. Don't remember what year it was, right? And I'm driving on the, I guess it would be considered a highway, right? Something called the Roosevelt Boulevard. And it's like 6-lane highway or whatever, dividers in there. And I'm driving, and I'm almost to my destination. And come sprinting across the street is this, a deer. Like a whole Bambi, just like baby deer running. And I see one car hit it, bow. And it got up, it kept running. Another car hit it, bow. It kept up and kept running. And I thought it laid there for a second. So I'm like, oh, all right, that joint about to just like lay. And because it's like a medium right there. And it was laying in the medium. So I'm like, oh man, that's messed up. Baby about to die out there. Crazy. So I just kept driving. I get a little closer and closer. Bambi jumps up, darts in front, and hits the car. And it like hit it and skinned it, and then it kind of tripped over and then kept on going. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I'm like, please, I hope it ain't no dent in this car. Thankfully, it wasn't no dent in the car, right? But I was just like, dang, that's crazy, because I thought that the Bambi had died. I thought the deer had died, and it just jumped up out of nowhere and like ran right into the car. Cause like I would have just waited into the that joker ran past, but it didn't. And it was just like a whole crazy moment, because like when I hit it, I like swerved a little bit, and next thing I knew, that was it. So that was my moment when I hit Bambi after it was already hit. So remember, greatness is within you. Greatness is a mindset. And remember, my motto is always go and be great.
You're in control of how you feel. You're in control. You are the determining factor of your feelings. No one else can control how you feel. Remember, you're in control of how you feel. So control your feelings.